Wow. Okay, so today, still trying to figure out what I want to do with this engine. Honestly, I'm leaning towards taking it to the machine shop and having it fixed. I don't think that it's ever been touched before. I can't see any markings on any of the cylinders that say that it's been overbored. It mics out to be 3 point something close to what the original bore was. I got to do a little bit more research. I can't get a good gauge of what it is because there is a little bit of a ring at the top of the cylinders that's impeding my ability to get a good measurement. So anyway, while I think I have been tinkering with the exhaust manifold, if some of you guys remember the picture I posted earlier, mine was broke. So I took it to a guy who welded up real nice. I'm pretty content with the way that it came out. It's only the intake side, so I would assume that it is going to be totally fine. But so I'm going to spend some time today cleaning it up. While I'm thinking that tends to be what I like to do, is just tinker with stuff and clean. And I might not use this stuff. I might use this stuff. I don't know. But I've got the intake manifold, as you saw, separated. Excuse the dirty bench. I have it separated out, and here's the exhaust side with a little lolly in the middle showing or is completely froze, so we're going to work on that. But we're going to take and put this into my sandblasting cabinet. You can see I have it set up over there. I did a tour on this little setup I have right here, but it's perfect for my little 2-car garage. Little vacuum there to suck out the exhaust, a little collector down there to get the to catch all of the sand and stuff coming out. But yeah, let's see if we can't get this thing cleaned up. I've got the intake manifold in my cabinet, and we're gonna take and shut this thing up, lock it. I've got no room in the shop right now, so everything's a little compact. But basically the setup is pretty simple. I've got this little vacuum that I got from Home Depot on a variable switch here, and when I click that on, I can turn the vacuum up or down, just to kind of you don't need a lot of vacuum, you just need kind of negative pressure. And I put a baffle in the back here. I don't know if any of this is going to come out, it might be too dark, but anyway, I'm going to get to sandblasting here. Okay, so we've got it blasted. It's not perfect. My media is getting a little used. Over time, the beads apparently will get round and lose their edges, and it takes forever to do anything. But got it cleaned up pretty okay for right now, for all that I'm going to do with it. But yeah, so not too bad. I really shouldn't be touching it, but all for the video. Just needs to be cleaned off with some cleaner, aka brake cleaner, and then some primer and paint. So let's go over here and grab some brake cleaner. Brake cleaner. Why am I always out of brake cleaner? Ooh. All right, next thing we're working on is unsticking this heat riser. So these are kind of neat in how they work. There's a bimetallic spring that sits on the shaft here that when warm will expand, and when it expands this ravels up and is supposed to work this heat shield. It'll come open. When it's closed, it's directing warm exhaust air up to the base of the carburetor to help atomize the fuel going in. When it's open, all of the exhaust flows out. Or maybe that's backwards. Don't pay any attention to me, it's confusing. But anyway, mine's stuck. So I've heated it, done some PB Blaster. We're making a little bit of headway. It looked like it may be kind of starting to move, but we're going to keep attacking it. Okay. A little bit of progress here in that it's starting to move. I ended up taking it over to my sandblast cabinet. Well, it was moving. I ended up taking it over to my sandblast cabinet and getting inside and cleaning up all of the stuff that I could, and that along with some heat and some penetrant, and she's moving. But let me see if I can, there you can go. You can see it's kind of moving. Hard to do this with one hand, but let me keep going. Okay, she's moving. Not easily, but it's moving. Okay, I think we got her. That was seized pretty good. I think the biggest thing that helped it was taking it over to the blasting cabinet and getting all of the carbon and buildup that I could see on the outside. It just allowed the penetrant to move into the bushing a little bit quicker. There's still a little bit of resistance, and I'm pretty sure it's got to spin pretty freely in order to work correctly. So from here it's just a matter of working the grease into it. And I believe there's kits that you can get that will, so you can rebush these, and I'll probably have to look into that, but it's free for now. Okay, well, I'm sorry I didn't take you along for the ride on some of that, but this has since been through the blasting cabinet, and it's got its first coat on there. You can see that this now moves super nice and easy. I'm sure it'll freeze up in another 3 months time, but hey, it's free now. So we're going to finish up with the paint here and let her cure, and then it'll be time to put it all back together and see it work. Okay folks, so there we go. I missed some steps there. It's hard to videotape and get stuff done at the same time, but basically everything has now been cleaned. This is nice and free. You can see that it moves up and down nicely, and we'll go through that here in a second. This is all, the PCV has been cleaned up and painted. It functions the way it should. This bracket was sandblasted and painted, and just kind of quickly, but it'll good enough for where it's going. But anyway, so this heat riser is pretty neat, right? So this, I believe I have this right, because as I had heat, she moves. So job done, I think. Not too shabby, not too shabby. One part of many.